Hello everyone and welcome to the 11th generation of a thoroughly refined, grown up and quite honestly a very popular compact sedan, which is this 2022 Honda Civic. So in today's video, let's find out everything in detail about this Honda Civic because there are a lot of changes in this 11th generation. But before we move forward, please consider subscribing to my channel by clicking that red button and make sure to press that subscription button, and make sure to also leave all the notifications on by pressing that bell icon so that you never miss any video updates from my channel. Now on this 11th generation of the Honda Civic, Honda has actually applied a new design principle called as Sokai, meaning it's fresh, it's more dynamic, it's more approachable, it's more intuitive, and yeah, honestly after testing this for a quite a few days, I can tell you a lot of things are quite true. And not just that, there is a lot of changes on the exterior also, because this front face now dons a completely new design. And not just that, even the bonnet is a little longer and it's sort of tapers down also, instead of the high rise bonnet in the previous generation. So let me start off with the front out here. So you get this black color grille out here, and in the previous generation this bit out here on the top used to be chromed. Now on this it's the body color, and actually this looks pretty cool. And not just that, this car also comes with the black pack, so a lot of things that you see outside are completely black. So your side mirrors, your door handles, the spoiler in the back, the grille in the front, all of these things are black. But yeah, this front looks much more clean and rather stylish. And there is this Honda badging out here, this black grille, which is normal plastic though, but I still don't mind because it still looks pretty decent. Even at the bottom there is this splitter which is in plastic, and then yeah, this plastic grille out here. There are also this plastic that continues near the headlights. At the bottom you would see these fog lamps which are given out here. They are also surrounded by this plastic surround, and this headlight now is a completely LED headlight cluster. There are also DRLs in here, there are turn signals. So yeah, there's quite a bit of advancement in terms of the technology also that has been offered on this 2022 Honda Civic. And not just that, these headlights are also dynamic headlights. So if you're following an oncoming traffic or there is a car in front of you, it would automatically lower the beams. And yeah, a lot of things which are quite clever on this Civic. In a lot of Honda Civics, you can actually start the car using the remote control. So the way to do that is you press the lock 2 times, you will hear a beep, and then there is the engine start button. You hold that and it will blink and it will start the car. This is so if you want to heat the car or cool the car, you can leave the AC on to that desired temperature, and then yeah, you can, before entering the car is already like, you know, at the right temperature for you. And in order to switch it off, again press the same engine button and it switches off. So this 11th generation of the Civic has also got a new design language also, which you can pretty much see it, because the old generation used to have a lot of aggressive lines which used to honestly make it a little too much, you know, going on from the side profile when you see it. But on this it's much more like lowered. Like this is the automatic feature that locks itself for the car when you walk away, but I'm going to come to that. So yeah, so now the Civic looks much more proportioned instead of, you know, having that aggressive angle to it. So out here you get 17-inch alloy rims which are in this black, completely blacked out, which is again a part of the black pack. And the side mirrors are glossy black, again part of the black pack. And then the side mirrors are power foldable, they are also power adjustable, but they don't have the blind spot warning. So instead of that, there is another camera that sticks out on the right side, which is for your lane watch. So whenever you're going to be taking a right turn, the feed is being projected on the infotainment screen, so you can check that, which is the Honda's feature which comes across pretty much every model that you pick up. Then even these doors are smart keyless entry door handles in the front ones, but these door handles are blacked out. And even in the back, as you see, this design, this feature where the belt line used to be raised up before, now it's much more subtle and not like sharply going in the rear. So which is why it gives it a more sedan type of look and much more spread out and wide. And not just that, this Civic is now 1.4 inches longer. You may not see it, but you may actually feel that this is actually a very long one than that 1.4 inches. But yeah, that's because the whole A pillar has been pushed a little backwards, and which is why it gives that longer feel in terms of its length. Now there is this one more feature which I had mentioned. So when the car is unlocked, you can, this is the one of the smart keyless entry features. So when you walk away from the car, it would automatically just lock itself. I've just unlocked right now, because if you do that, the one that you saw, like, it would immediately lock itself after like 5 to 10 seconds. That's usually what happens when you get out from the car and start walking away from it. Now there are changes to the rear end of the Civic too, and the first noticeable one that you would see is the tail lights. So these tail lights are again a mixture of LED and halogen, so they are the combination tail light cluster. But not just that, the tail light previously used to have a C-shaped design, which used to be like those scorpion types of design, but on this one it's now L-shaped design, and these tail lights also extend onto the side profile. There's Civic badging, the Honda badging, and also the Sport badging. So the particular model that I'm reviewing is the Honda Civic Sport, which has a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine. And in terms of the visibility, it's actually quite improved on this generation of the Civic, because the previous generation of the Civic used to have a very thick rear end, which is why it was quite raised up. But on this, yeah, the glass is quite long enough. There are some pillars in between, but yeah, it's definitely an improvement compared to the previous generation. There is also a spoiler which has been given, which is a blacked out, but this is again a part of the black pack, which is why you get this black color spoiler. I wish even the badgings out here were also blacked out, because yeah, it would really make the car look very sporty. Now at the bottom you get a very simplified bumper design, which is again looks quite elegant and also quite sorted out, because in the previous one, yeah, there used to be a lot more going on. But at the bottom you would notice two exhaust tips, which are chromed exhaust tips, and they are the real ones. So you get the dual exhaust tips on this Civic. There's also a blacked out antenna which you get on this one, part of the black pack. Now when it comes to the boot space, in this current setting in the Civic, you can put 419 liters of luggage in the back, and it's a very horizontal space that way, but nonetheless quite useful. There is a little bit of lip out here. There are also scruff plates so that you don't damage your bumper while loading and unloading the luggage. And not just that, even on the edges of the boot, they haven't given anything on like padding or anything, so you get a really broader the boot space when it comes out at the end of it. So you can actually put longer objects like horizontally out here, and the whole boot space is lined with the carpet material. At the bottom of this boot floor you would find a full size spare wheel, which has been given along with the tool kit, and you can even leave the boot floor like this so that it stays open. So yeah, that's a part of clever thinking from Honda. And there are no more tying points or anything out here. Yeah, no there is just one boot light, but there's no 12-volt power socket in if you want to clean your boot space that way. And there are also rear seats which are foldable, which is in a ratio of 60:40. So there are levers given out here, so when you pull them you can fold the seats down, but that's only possible from behind, from the rear boot, but not from the front. So when I fold these seats down, let me just fold one of the seats for now, and when I do that, there is enough of horizontal space that you get, so you can load longer objects. But yeah, there are a bit of arches in between which hinder the overall openness of the boot space, but nonetheless you can utilize it in order to load some longer objects. And not just that, this boot floor also has a spring action, so when you open it automatically opens up. Not in the previous generation this wasn't the case. And also I think in the class itself, it's one of the first features that you get. So yeah, it's actually quite a useful feature. So whenever you open up, you don't really have to put an effort in opening the boot door. So a fresh approach is also taken on the interiors, because there are lots of changes to the interior. In fact, like the previous generation and this generation feels like it's been like 5 years, but yeah, just in 1 year they've changed so much on this 11th generation of the Civic. So let me start off with the basic material quality. You get soft touch plastic dashboard out here. It's really soft, and even on the door cards it's soft. And not just that, out here you get glossy black plastic. And the first thing that you would notice when you enter inside this new Civic are these grills. These AC vents are covered with this honeycomb type grill out here, and honestly this is an absolutely amazing design feature that they have included, because it looks so clean, and you that way also hide the AC vents in here. And not just that, there are these joysticks which are given, like yeah, you can adjust the flow of air, the direction of flow of air using them. Like yeah, you can literally play around. Yeah, if you have kids, probably they are going to do that, because they would think this is the joystick, and yeah, they're going to play around. And then there is this clicking sound, so you can lock them in so that they don't move around. Even on the driver's side, the same thing, the same small design also of the honeycomb grill that has been given. But yeah, very well thought out process, design feature that they have given on this one. At the bottom there is just normal plastic. Even out here there is normal plastic. In the door cards at the bottom there is normal plastic. But the thing is, there is also a definite improvement in terms of the plastic quality also, because I can see that in the previous generation the plastic whatever they had used was a little cheaped out, but on this, yeah, it's a decent plastic that they have used. And not just that, there is also this plastic trim out here near the cup holders, like the huge panel which resembles like carbon fiber. And out here also where you have the driver's switches, there also there is this carbon fiber, even on the passenger side and even on the back. There are also mood lights out here in red color, but they don't change. I tried searching inside if I could find the lights, if I can change the color, but I couldn't. Even there are lights inside the footwell. There are also metal pedal sets as a part of the sport package. So yeah, lots of things which are different on this Civic compared to the previous generation. Now another big feature that they have introduced is the driver's display, which is a 10.2 inch TFT display which you get. And not just that, this is the first in its class to offer a 10.2 inch, and it's actually a commendable effort, because I like how the screen is for this price range and also for a compact sedan. Yeah, it's a very clean screen that you get, and you get two dials on both the sides. So one dial on the left side is your rev counter and the speedometer on the right, and in the center you get the information. And by default the dials are closer to each other and a digital speed on top, but you can even press the lane assist, or when you switch on the cruise control you can get a car model inside in the center, and that car will actually show you when you brake, when you take a turn. The lights and everything is functional on it, so it's like a model, a digital model of your car right on your screen. And not just that, when it's following the lane assist, or when it's following the cruise control, so it will actually sense, because there is a Honda sensing, so it will actually show you all the cars, the bikes and everything on your screen itself, like in the digital form. So that is actually pretty cool. And not just that, on this generation of the Honda sensing, instead of the sensors, they have now introduced a camera. So using that camera, it scans the surface in front of it, and which is why it's able to give you that feed on your screen itself. But yeah, really cool things that you can do. And not just that, the dials on the left side in the center, you can change the information, and there is like a rotary dial given on the steering wheel. On the left side one will change the left side dial and information, so you can see your phone, your FM, DAB, AM, USB, Bluetooth apps. You can even customize the display, and same goes for the right side, so you can see your average that you're doing, and then the next screen the long-term average, then the navigation like a compass, and the driver's safety. So if you are driving for a long time, it would show you how attentive you are, and also then the next, if there are any warnings, it would show you. Then the maintenance, and then the safety support. Then you can customize the display, and when you go inside you can change the gauge design to a bar type setup, so there will be bars on both the sides and center information displayed, and you can leave it to round. When you switch on the cruise, it will go to that, or the bar same settings, when you switch on the cruise control, it would switch to that. So yeah, it's quite fascinating that this is the same Civic that was in the previous generation used to have the physical dials and gauges, and now it's got the digital cluster on it. But yeah, very good attempt for the first time, like very good. And it's a very colorful display. Not just that, even when the media is playing out there, you can find the colorful graphics also, that you can see what track is being played, and on your right side also the same, navigation and everything that you can see on your screen. So yeah, very good effort in terms of that. Now when it comes to the steering wheel, this is a leather covered red stitch steering wheel, which is nice and big and round one. There are also bright glossy plastics, which are black color ones, which are given around the steering wheel. In the center is just normal plastic and a chrome Honda badging. And there are also paddle shifters, which are given a little tiny one, but yeah, it's a CVT, so I'm pretty sure you're not going to be using them a lot, so it's still all right. They are the plastic ones. And the steering wheel is tilt and telescopic, so you can adjust both of it and get the right position. And on your right side you will find the control for your adaptive cruise control, and also the dials if you want to change the information on your driver's display, and also the buttons for your lane keep assist and everything, and also to set the distance. And on your left side you would find the controls for your communication and also the media control. Now when it comes to the air conditioning controls, again straightforward, button operated, but the quality of the dials that they have provided out here, yeah, that is also very cool, because there is a definite improvement in terms of the quality out here. The fit and finish is very good. So the only thing is that when you turn these dials, like in the Accord, you would find when you are changing the temperature, you can see the rings in the back go from red to blue if you're cooling it or heating it. So in fact, I've done the detailed review of the Honda Accord. You can click on the pop-up banner out here and you can find the review of that as well. But once we continue out here, so you get straightforward 3 dials out here in the middle, so you can switch the air conditioning on and off, and in the middle you can set the fan speed, and on both the sides you would find the dials for your temperature control. So you get dual zone air conditioning control on this Honda Civic, and everything is straightforward button operated. You can even see the temperature on top on the infotainment screen, but yeah, it's pretty much there in front of you, even when if you don't want to look at the infotainment screen, so it's always right out there on the air conditioning control itself. Now when you come to the infotainment screen on this Honda Civic Sport, you get a 9-inch colorful display with the buttons like your home, back, and the volume controls and the track changer are all given on the left side, while the screen itself is mounted right on at your eye level. And the thing is, sometimes I found that this screen tends to heat up and stops working. I don't know if this is something which will be improved later on, but yeah, I found that sometimes it becomes non-responsive due to the heat. But it's a very good display, and I've always mentioned that Honda's operating system is one of the top tools that I like. Like, it's really fantastic. It's a very clean interface. You get color coded icons on your screen, and not just that, it's very smooth that way, and it feels very light, and it's quick also. So when you're like scrolling around, and the best part is that all the options are on your screen itself. So you get your all apps feature where you can change all the apps that you want to see on your main home screen. Then you go back, then there is the navigation. There's an inbuilt navigation system which is decent, I would say, but there's also Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, so most of the times you're going to be using the Google Maps. But nonetheless, if you're not, then there is a map which has been given, and it's pretty snappy too. It's quite easier to use. And when you go back, there's phone option. When your phone is connected, there's FM radio option, then the Bluetooth audio. So in terms of the connectivity, you can connect to this infotainment system using the Bluetooth, USB. There's also wired Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Hopefully the wireless connections will be making its way into this generation of the Civic 2. There's also the smartphone connection, which is your wireless control. Then the traffic announcements. There's also the trip computer. When you go in, you can see your average and what all kilometers and range that you are doing. Then there is the general settings where you will find all your systems, smartphone connection, display, sound settings. So in terms of the sound, you get 8-speaker music system on this Honda Civic, and even that has been improved, even though it's a non-branded, just the normal sound system, but it sounds very good on this Civic. And there is the vehicle settings, detailed ones, in which you will find all your different settings for your deflation, your driver assist system. So all your lane keep assist, your driver monitor and all that. The adaptive cruise control can be changed from here. Then your meter setup, you can change what all things you see on your meter in terms of the option. Then the keyless access setup, so what you saw when you walk away from the car, it automatically locks. All of that you can change. Then the lighting setup, you can change the headlights, the interior lights and all of those, but not the mood lights which are given. I've tried to find but I couldn't. And there is also the door window setup, so you can, whenever you lock it, your remote can do a lot more things, like when you long press it unlock button, the windows would lower down. Long press the lock button, it would automatically fold the windows up. So all those options. Then the maintenance info, and then when you come back, there's USB, AM, the DAB digital feed, the system updates, clock, display mode, and there is also the app installer. So if you have any apps on your USB, you can plug it in and then you can put the apps on this infotainment screen. So overall it's a very good system. Even at the bottom you would find the shortcut buttons for your navigation, phone, FM, Bluetooth, DAB, and also the display mode, which you can switch to different themes, and night mode and the day mode. There's also the date setting. When you click on the date, you can go into the date, and then you can even change the clock interface by going to the settings and change the different setup. So yeah, very light system and easy to understand, which is what you need in a compact family sedan. Now when you come to the charging, you get two USB ports, standard USB ports underneath the air conditioning controls, and 180 watt power socket, but that is about it. There are no more USB ports given for the rear passenger or the 12 volt power socket, and the two ports are also divided between one for the connectivity and one for the charging. So there's only one dedicated port in order to connect to this infotainment system. There is also one wireless charger. Again, the first time it has been introduced on the Honda Civic, which is a 15 watt wireless phone charger, and the button for on and off is given out here. When you come to the storage, you can put easily 1.5 liter worth of bottle in the door cards and some more storage on the sides, but it's just normal plastics, not lined with the carpet material, because then the bottles wouldn't make any noise. But nonetheless, it's pretty spacious that way. That is what is important. There are two big cup holders which are given out here, flexible ones, and there is a slot in between where you can put your phones and everything. There's also this wireless charging port that you can utilize to put your wallets and phone. There is also one glove box which is a little tiny to my liking. It's not that big, where you can put like a couple of books, that's about it. But there is this huge center armrest, again covered with leather and red stitching and soft touch, and inside that you will find a tray which you can adjust and put it in front and back, and you can put something on it, and like your coins or something. And in the bottom there is this huge storage where you can easily put like 4 half a liter worth of bottles. So big storage that is given out here that way. And for the rear passengers, there are two cup holders given in the center armrest, and in the door cards you can again put like 1 to 1.5 liter worth of bottle. Now on this Honda Civic you get a normal sunroof, but even in the previous generation you used to get a sunroof, and on this that has been continued. There are also this first time introduced SOS button, so it's an emergency system. So when you press that, if you need help while you're in the car, or if you want any medical emergency and you need help, then you can press that SOS button and your coordinates would be sent and some help will be sent to your way. And there is also this gear lever, which is what I find, like, it's ergonomically at a very good position, which is what I find. But the thing is, it feels a little clunky when I try to change the gear. It feels a little harder on the harder side, and it just makes it very clunky. I thought I was moving ahead, but it feels definitely a little more clunky that way. If that is made smooth, then the experience. But I like how the position is, and not just that, there's also drive mode button right behind that, which is given. So there are 3 driving modes on this Honda Civic, which is your eco, normal, and the sport mode. And when you change that, there are also graphics on your driver's display. So when you change that, you get nice bit of graphics on the right side, which shows you which mode you are in, with the tire and all of that animation which goes around. Pretty cool that way. Now when you come to these seats, these are leather and suede black color seats with the red stitching, and honestly yeah, these seats are quite broad and they are really comfortable during the longer journeys, and especially the suede material makes it very comfortable, especially during the summer season, because yeah, your bottoms are going to be really hot if it was leather. But on this, they've cleverly given the suede material. It's also perforated, but it does not cool or heat anything. It's just for the design purpose. Even in the back, it's the suede material, and there's nice bit of side support, and even at the bottom there is good bit of support. It's just that the lumbar support could have been a little better, because yeah, there is a bit of a gap when you sit inside, so yeah, that can be improved. The driver side seat is 8-way electronically adjustable, and also the passenger side seat is only manually adjustable, so you get only the electronic feature on the driver's side. Now, I mentioned that this 11th generation of the Civic is 1.4 inches longer than the previous generation, and that space is quite visible on the inside also, especially in the rear seats. And not just that, because this interior has been redesigned, so there has been fair bit of space given for the rear passenger also, because there's decent amount of knee room out here, and the headroom is quite alright. In the previous generation, the roof used to curve down aggressively, which is why the head space used to, you know, be very little, especially if you are someone about 6 feet. But on this, yeah, someone about 6 feet can also get a little decent amount of headroom out here. There's also the curving of the roof at the top, so that gives it an extra bit of space here. And not just that, you can even slide your legs under the seats during the longer journeys. So yeah, it's not very heavily padded, so which is why it gives you that space so that you can stretch your legs during the longer journeys. And in the back, you get the same suede and leather black color seats out here in the bench type setup, with this red stitching out here, which is perforated. Again, they don't cool or heat or anything, but yeah, it gives a really comfortable seating position also. Although the rear seats tend to feel a little on the lower side, I still get the fact that that gives you that extra bit of headroom also, while giving you the head space and also a bit of comfort in these seats. But yeah, that's still all right, because the overall setup is pretty decent. There is only small amount of tunnel out here, so when I sit in the middle, there is a bit of a hump in the center seat and also in the back. But yeah, right now also I have still about 3 fingers worth of headroom out here, so it's pretty decent for even the middle passenger if they want to sit. But yeah, the two passengers on the extreme end are going to be really comfortable that way. And also there is this soft carpeting material which has been given in the back, so yeah, that feels very soft and also pretty plush in the back. Now in the back, the door cards are now just plastic and not the soft touch ones which were given, and there is also the same carbon fiber effect where you're going to be resting your hands, but where you're actually going to be resting your hands, it's covered with the black color leather with the red stitching. And out here you can put like 1 liter worth of bottle. There is no more storage around. There is also 2 cup holders which are given, but this handrest which is given, that handrest is a little on the lower side, which is what I find, and yeah, it's a little loose that way, so it slopes down also and just doesn't stay horizontal, but yeah, it slopes down. And these are non-flexible cup holders, so yeah, the cups are going to be, and they are a little shallow also, which is what I find. Plus they are right where you're going to be resting your hands, so yeah, it's more of, yeah, if you have some passengers in the back and they want to use the cup holders, they can use that, or the handrest. And there are also 2 air conditioning vents which are given, and the flow of air is what you can adjust, and also the direction of air. But that is pretty much it in terms of the air conditioning controls that you get for the rear passenger. There are also pockets which are given in both the rear seats. There is a bit of a curvature also given in the rear seat, so that it gives you that extra bit of knee room. But overall, yeah, a very good use of the rear space, and in fact it's much more spacious than the previous generation. Now this Honda Civic is powered by the same 1.5 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine that produces 180 horsepower and 240 Newton meters of torque, and this engine is mated to a CVT transmission that sends power to the front wheel. So this is still a front wheel drive car, and Honda has mentioned that there is no plans for it to introduce this into an all-wheel drive car. So for now, this is predominantly and still the front wheel drive car. So in terms of the engine and the gearbox, the engine is pretty smooth even for a turbocharged, because there is no lag as such. You cannot feel that it's a turbocharged engine that you're driving, and it's a very smooth power that you get. It just feels very crisp and very smoothened out that way in terms of the power delivery. And yeah, I don't think I have any complaints from that front. And even not just that, they've even improved the CVT that they've given. And usually I'm not a huge fan of CVT because it usually makes a very growling and grumbling noise when it's accelerating, but on this one again that is very smooth, although you still get the paddle shifters. But if you feel like being a little more sporty and you want to try the paddle shifters, you can go ahead and do that. But yeah, it's more for the efficiency, and because this is a family compact car, so which is why there is a CVT and 1.5 liter. That combination gives you the maximum efficiency. So in terms of the efficiency, the claimed efficiency is around 19 kilometers per liter, but on this one I am getting close to 13 to 14 kilometers per liter, which is pretty impressive for a big car that way. And let's be honest, Civic has grown and it's become big, so for a 1.5 liter engine it's pretty decent what it achieves. And the only thing is that the fuel tank feels a little smaller, because yeah, I just get a range of 400 to 450 kilometers, which yeah might feel a little lesser when you are going on a longer journey. So yeah, if it was increased and it would make it 600 kilometers, somewhere around that would be really decent. And there are also the driving modes which I had mentioned. So when I put it in the sport mode, what happens is it just increases the engine RPM when it would actually synchronize the CVT with it. So yeah, it becomes a lot more responsive in terms of its performance, but always it feels very gentle and calm. It does not feel very alarming or that it would give you jerks or anything. So that way, on that front, I just prefer the comfort more because it's much more usable on a daily run. So yeah, if I had to mention anything related to the engine, yeah, it just does not feel very underpowered or anything. You may think that it is small 1.5 liter, but yeah, considering that the fuel prices are increasing in UAE, I think this engine fits very well in that category, and it's very good for everyday use, especially with the improved CVT. Yeah, just improve the clunky gear shift, that's it, and you are sorted. Now when it comes to the suspension, you get softer setup on this 2022 Civic, because even the suspension, even though they are soft, let me do a slide and show you, like there is just a marginal amount of roll, that's about it. But although it feels very much under control, like it takes the turns very well. Even there is also to do with the fact that the steering system on this is also much more improved compared to the previous generation, although a little on the softer side, but I get it because it's more for the families, which is why it's been given that softer touch. But nonetheless, the steering is pretty good. I pretty much like everything that's been given on this car, because there's nothing that can go wrong, especially when the aim is like a family car, which is decent. And from a car that's a pretty popular one, yeah, this is all incremental improvement that has been done, and it's all for the good thing. So yeah, even the steering setup is very nice. It's poised, it's sharp for a Civic standards. This is very good, and it's just that the feedback, there is a little bit more that can be improved, but otherwise it's actually a very good steering setup that you get, because the effort is very less. Now when you come to the noise and the vibrations, they are actually kept well in check. In terms of the vibrations, the whole build quality has improved a lot, and it's quite visible also when you sit in it and you feel all the materials that they have used. When you touch things, yeah, it's very good. And not just that, it's just that in terms of the noise, there is a little bit of engine noise that you will hear sometimes when you are hard accelerating. That's the only thing, that's about it. And there is also some bit of road noise from the tires that seeps through inside the cabin, and that's the only time that you will hear noises. But otherwise, the wind whooshing and everything, all that is very well kept in check. I really like that way how the build quality is, and that just shows that Honda's improved the Civic so very much, and it's actually focused on things which were meant to be improved from the previous generation, and it has inculcated those points and also improved in that direction. Now when you come to the brakes, you get 4 disc brakes on this 2022 Civic. And first let me come to the pedal, because the pedal feels good amount of weight to it, and it's also got good travel to it and not like a sudden thing. So yeah, although just a little roughness to it when you press the pedal, that's about it, but you get used to. So and let me show you by demonstrating you an emergency brake stop from 100. Let me do that. I'll reach 100, and you also get the emergency stop signal, but it only blinks when you stop suddenly when you're braking it, and then after that it just disappears. So yeah, the braking action is also very solid. It grips very well, and it definitely gives you that sporty feeling for sure. Now when you come to the safety systems, you get 6 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags again for the driver and the passenger, 2 curtain airbags for the driver and the passenger. There is also the Honda sensing that I had mentioned, but now instead of the sensor based sensing system, now they have a camera, as I had mentioned, which is mounted out here where the rear view mirror is. So that constantly keeps scanning the road and gives you the feedback, and it also helps you with other safety systems like the emergency stop if there is someone in front or in the or around the car in the front. So all those safety systems, that camera helps to function that Honda sensing system, and it's a brilliant system. It also, during the lane keep assist, the lane departure warning and everything, it senses very well. So yeah, on that front Honda has done a very good work. There are also ABS, there is also tire pressure monitoring system, there is also child isofix points in both the rear seats. There is also this SOS system for emergency purposes. There is also the mitigation system, accident mitigation system. So that is, if your car is going to, probably if you're not paying attention and if you're going to be crashing into someone, then yeah, it would brake for you. And there's also a reminder option for the rear seats in case you forget something or someone. Not just that, there's the attention monitor also that keeps a track of your driving style, so tell you like if you're tired or not. There's also a single camera reversing system, and the output from that is pretty good. It has definitely improved from the previous generation, and it's just slightly grainy, but otherwise it's very smooth. Now when it comes to the pricing, this Honda Civic Sport comes in at 123,500 dirhams, and there's only currently one model available, which is this Sport one. So for that, I get, now you may have questions that, you know, this car literally goes into a mid-size sedan category, and not just that, it also goes into the Accord territory. But allow me to explain, because the thing is, this car is so loaded, and when you think of a 120,000 car, it's the Accord that you get from a base model, and on this it's actually the topmost variant that you can find with so much of tech. And let's be honest, Civic has actually improved in so many departments. From your technological front, you have the infotainment screen, the driver's display, in terms of the style, in terms of the appeal, in terms of the comfort, in terms of the space, in terms of the interior design. Like the whole dashboard now feels so much more organized and so much more premium and advanced. So for that, the price that you pay, and let's be honest, the 1.5 liter engine is going to be efficient for everyday use, and if you are going to be investing close to 123k, this actually makes the sense, to be honest. And let's be honest, if you're going to be going out cheap, then yeah, you are going to be compromising on the materials. The question is, has Honda got it right with the 2022 Civic? And I would say absolutely they have gotten right, because yeah, it's got everything that you need from a compact sedan. And not just that, it even delivers you a little more extra than you would think you would get from a car. So for that, this is definitely a good thing to buy. And not just that, it actually has raised the benchmark in the compact sedan, and this becomes very much like a benchmark in the compact sedan. So for the other cars and manufacturers, this car is definitely to look out for. Anyways, that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching this video. Give this video a thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe to my channel, then you can click here, and if you want to watch more videos, then click here. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care and stay safe.